Hey guys, Pat here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, even when you got flat tires. Now the other day I came out and I had a flat tire on the pickup. I got a bottle of soapy water and I ran around and found out where the hole was. And so today I'm going to go about patching it while it's on the rim and not having to take it out down to the tire shop, hopefully. What I keep in my trucks, or try to keep in my trucks if I remember, is a tire patch kit. And what that consists of is this thing. And what that does is that cleans out the hole. Let's say you got a hole made by a screw, a nail, something along those lines. You go ahead and remove that, and you take and you run this through the hole, which I'll show you. I'll demonstrate that. And then you pull it out real fast. So the next tool of interest will be a patch inserter, what I call a patch inserter. I don't know what the official name is. If you guys know what the official name is, you can put it in the comment section below. But you grab this with one of these patches threaded through here and looped around. You're going to put this, I don't know if you guys can pronounce that, I surely can't. Anyways, it's basically just contact cement, and you put that all over your patch. You're going to smear it all over the patch after you have it on this needle. You're going to ram the patch in to about halfway, and then you're going to pull this back out. And what keeps this from pulling back out, if you look really close, you can see it split on the end. These two little armatures that come out are split on the end. It's not like a sewing needle, whereas a sewing needle is looped all the way around through here. Well, this has a little split in it, so when you go to pull this out of the tire, it's going to leave the patch in. So what I've done here is I filled up the tire with to pressure, and this leak is about every 2 days I have to come out and fill it up. If I was really onto it, I would fill it up every one day or every single day. But I get by with a day, but it's not getting any better. Yeah. So I guess I better fix it. So what I do to get prepared for this is I find the leak, and then if I find anything lodged in the hole, which I haven't found anything in the hole on this one, so I ran over something and apparently it must have come out, but it's just enough to puncture clear through the tire. So what I got to do to get prepared is I took and I pulled the truck ahead. Okay, after I found the hole, I marked the side of the tire just with a line. You can see kind of where I put this mark right here, just to mark out where on the tire that hole is. And then I turn the wheel so I can get easy access to the wheel and tire. So I don't have the wheel well in the way of trying to fix it, or it's not pointing down obviously, but this is a good comfortable position for me to work at. So right here's where that leak is. Now you can see the bubbles coming out here. You could do that with just water. Just putting a little bit of soap in your container will help you to find that easier, because it'll leave bubbles. So I'm at the house right now, but if I was out in the middle of nowhere on the side of the road or what have you, I wouldn't have this, obviously I wouldn't have this air compressor with me. But what I also keep on the truck is a little 12-volt pump. Now these little pumps aren't that much money. Perhaps Heidi can link these on the Amazon store and show you guys what to get. They're small, they don't take up much space, but they're handy. This one here has a little light on it. Of course, the more expensive one you buy, probably the better off you'll be. This one here seems a little bit heavier than some of the ones I've bought in the past, but all you need is for 1 or 2 operations during its lifetime, and it pays for itself real quick. If you're on the side of the road, it'll keep you from having to change out the tire on the side of the road. Just plugs right into your cigarette lighter, and you just turn it on. And for safety, you can have this little light, pointing in a direction that kind of illuminates you if you're in the dark. But I'm not going to use this today. for the simple fact I'm at the house and I can use my compressor from the garage. But I just wanted to show you that in the event that you want to keep something like, you know, something like this little test kit here. It even has directions on the back. This particular one's made by Victor. I can just get this down at the hardware store. You can get it at a auto parts store as well with these little pumps, or like I say, if Heidi can remember, she'll show you these on Amazon. But anyway, you got to do this in a real quick fashion. So what I do first is I get this little patch prepared, run it through this little needle. Now these things are like real sticky tar. They're just, you know, they stick to your fingers real easy. I don't want to handle it too much because I want to keep the sticky on there. So you just thread it just like you would a needle and a thread. You just work it into halfway. That's the halfway point around about. You just fold it back a little, and that's how I'm going to push that in when I clean this hole out with this other piece. I'll run this in here, and it's actually kind of hard to do that, especially if you got a heavy wall ply tire. The higher the ply rating on the tire, the harder it is to push this patch into that hole. Now I've patched my backhoe before, and that's the front tire that gets heavy loads, you know, picking up heavy loads of dirt and stuff like that, and it's worked well. I've used these patches a few different times, and I swear up and down by keeping a few of these on your truck. Once I start with this thing, then I have to move fairly fast. So putting the rasp in through the hole where the puncture is, and then immediately after that, this will have the glue on it. I'll ram this in for about halfway, so about right up to this point, and then pull this out, pull the needle out, and should stop the leak, or hopefully it does. You guys will be the first witnesses. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's got to be a direct puncture into your thread. It can't be a sidewall puncture. That's no good. If it's in the treads and it's a direct puncture, then these work really well. Okay, here we go. Now these come that you gotta first puncture the end of the bottle glue, and you can do that with a rasp. And I'm going to look to see, I know you can get replacement patches, but I have not looked to see if you can get replacement glue. But I will do that, and if I find it, I'll have Heidi put that in the description. So here we go, we're ready to go now. Found my hole. Sometimes twisting helps. You gotta run it clear through. And that cleans the hole out. Now you can see I almost went too far. But see how that leaves that in there? Now this will just wear off as you get going on down the road. But then you can clean this off with a paper towel if you got one handy. And I don't know if I'd recommend trying to keep this glue, because it might be dry by the time you use it next. You know, doing this video just reminded me that I should look into seeing if I can get some more of these and keeping them on hand. You keep them in the truck, then in summer days it gets hot out, gets cool, gets hot, gets cool, and that stuff would probably have a tendency to degrade. But I'm going to get and clean this up and get it ready for the next use. Now being I'm at the house, I just went and got a little bit of acetone, and I'll clean this little needle up and get it ready for the next use. I think acetone will work on it. I got to jabbering and kind of let that dry on there a little bit. That's pretty fast drying stuff. That's why I say you got to really get moving in order to make this operation nice and smooth. Sometimes it's really hard to push that rasp in and out of in there and get it out of the tire at the same time. So when you get obligated into this, you got to make that a nice smooth operation. Make sure it's right perpendicular to the hole. Ram that in there. A nice solid push in there. These handles are kind of nice. They're nice and wide for your hands. You just grab them like that and just run that in. The rasp as well as the needle. So anyway, I'm going to spray a little water on this and see if it's still leaking. I don't see any bubbles coming out of that. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to pressure. Now you'll notice that I hardly lost any air out of the tire while I did this operation. Sometimes that's not so much. I've pulled that rasp out of that tire and air just comes rushing out of there. But I don't lose all the air. I've never lost all of the air out of a tire. But if you've got one of those little 12-volt pumps and you're out in the middle of nowhere, you can use that little 12-volt pump that I showed you. See, I'm right there at 50 pounds already. So I didn't lose hardly any air at all. I pumped the tire up just before I started shooting the video, so I think that's a must-have to have in a kit. That little pump and some of these little patches. So anyways, I hope that helped you guys out. Thanks for stopping by. Take care and God bless.